This is not perfect, but we're going to talk about the next season of movie watching. Remember we did, so far this year we've had the ones that I've shown for this year are the spring season, like that April through May, and then for the whiteboard series I did the June season, I did the July season, and I did the August season at Rio. Okay, so those four altogether: spring, June, July, and then the August. So that's 5 months. Okay, and so this here is going to be the next season, which is the most lax, the most relaxed, not any like intense movies. It's almost like, I call it, for lack of a better term, end of summer, pre-horror fest season. You can call it, beginning of fall, whatever you want to call it. It's almost like a halftime, because you have like the 5 months. Remember, the movie year begins for me in April, like April 1st. Sometimes maybe like March 31st. And then, so 5 months later, we're into September. Okay, so this season begins the day after Labor Day. All right. Now, one movie I did not mention, we still have a few to get to in August, but the one that I did not mention as a must watch, because I was going to put it into this season, is one from 1984 called Hot Moves. Now this one marks the ending of the August season of the entire summer series, if you want to kind of put that in a trilogy. This movie is viewed in maybe like the Friday, Labor Day Friday, Labor Day Saturday, or Labor Day itself. Kind of depends on the weather and things like that. Really good to get it in Labor Day. The beginning of this movie shows the last day of school for high school, or it focuses on the last day of school. It goes through the summer, and then the last, very, very last scene is the last day of summer before they go back to school, which in all intents and purposes is Labor Day. Okay, so it kind of sets up perfectly. Now, depending on when Labor Day falls, that's when this next season begins. So this time it's September 3rd. It was the 3rd of September. And then it goes through it ends the day before Horror Fest. All right. This year it's early. It's October 10th. I mean, it's October 11th, the starting date, but it will be September 3rd to October 10th. So we'll talk about that as we get down to the end here. Here's the must watches of this season. Okay. No, you don't see Twilight Zones on here. You don't see like MST3K. There's no MST3K on here. Okay. Let me just check one thing first here, boys. So that's something you saw a lot of during the summer. With MST3K movies, kind of relying on that, and then doing a lot of Twilight Zones. Gone here. Doesn't mean I won't have them, but they're gone from the must watches. They're not even on the others. All right. So the first one that's a must watch is The Pretender. Okay. Gaviero knows all about this one. 1987. Keith Rose, Dan Addington. Does that name look familiar, guys? Dan Addington. Addington. Crystal Robbins, and some others. It's got Jack McAney and Donnie Keshawar's in there too, and some other phenomenal actors. Short film, okay, and it has pizza in it, and it's kind of starts the beginning of school. So you have kind of beginning of school themes going on here, but not all the time, okay. You have kind of some college type themes here, and you have pizza in this movie too. So Lost Things is another one that I'm adding this year to my must-watches. I really think this is an underrated horror film. It's more of a mystery suspense kind of film, but it is categorized as horror. 2003. You have Ford, I forget his first name, Linka, and Steve DeMarquand. So this is a very, it's got some beach in it too. So it's really, the whole thing is at a beach. Australian film, very creepy beach. Kind of sets up beach visits. This, by the way, after watching it, usually sets up a desiring a beach visit too, but definitely Lost Things is one. And this would be, I'll get back to it, okay, when I get down here, but we have another, so this is a short Christian film. This is a Australian horror kind of, another Christian film. So this is another Rich Cristiano film, Dave Cristiano. They're twins, in case you don't know who they are. These are twin director, producer, who started making Christian films back in 1986. A lot of them are short films. They have made some full-length features. They actually had one come out in 2022, I think. But their films I just love. They're so like campy. They're really bad. Some of the writing in it's terrible. I love the kind of the reoccurring actors in these films. But you see a lot of these during this season. You see a lot of their films, the Cristiano films, during this season. Okay, this one, The Appointment, Karen Jo Breer, is just a very attractive actress. I don't know what else, she was not in much else, but that was a very nice find by them. Joanne Ostrander is in it, and some others. You see a couple of other faces in there that I recognize from some of the other Cristiano films, mainly the guy who's in the Christian bookstore in The Pretender, who Keith Rose's character asks the guy, is this the Bible that Jesus preached out of? So that guy who's like, who kind of looks at it, he's in this movie, The Appointment, and a couple others, but I think Jack McAney is in it too. It's like someone who's interviewed on the street. The Appointment is about a woman who is told by some mysterious man that she's going to die on September the 19th. And then she gets people in her life who are trying to like convince her about like the gospel and stuff, like making decisions before she dies. She's a young person though. But that's why I watch this always on September the 19th. Okay. Kind of sets up nicely. There's also some nice scenes in here. There's good food scenes like the burger and fries. There's an actual Waffle House scene, Andy, like filmed in Waffle House, like they thank Waffle House at the end. So you have that. You have some kind of nice, almost like Shoney's looking place in there. But I really love this movie every year. This is like the biggest. These two are like the biggest must watch for September that there is. It's like it has to be in September. In Your Wildest Dreams is another. It's not a Christian film. It's a family, maybe a family focus on the family. Forget the company. This is glorious. This thing. Trevor Black, Lisa Wilburn is in this, and then of course Brett. My man Brett Palmer, who was also in The Gift, 1977, back in 1977. Short Mormon Christmas film. It's always on my Christmas fest. And he was also, I think, in The Snow Beast, 1977. I added him to the IMDb. I think that's him in the movie. He finds the people killed by the Snow Beast. So In Your Wildest Dreams, I love this, and Brett Palmer just nails it. This is great. This movie, In Your Wildest Dreams. This is a full-length feature. The Pretender, I'll talk about that, but Ordinary Guy is another one that is, it's a Christian film, and I forget who produced this, but it's so rare that I had to add it to the I actually added this film to IMDb in all the credits and everything like that. So Rich Foster, Maggie Doyle, and then we have, I think, Wanda Oldenburg, who plays Frida. So this is really, really rare, strange. It's a Christian film. It's kind of short. It's like an hour, 10 minutes, maybe. Between an hour and 10 minutes. So it's just, this is really weird. Like the guy popping out of his grave and going to heaven at the end, and just really caps it off nicely. On the Edge is one that it's really works well in this time of year. Another Christian film. This clocks in at about an hour. I forget who directed this. It's not Cristiano Brothers, but this is one of my favorite Christian films. I mean, just it's a college guy, and he goes. It's a sequel to another movie, but it's the college guy played by Jay Roberts, who takes his roommate Jared Moses to this like hiking trip in Yosemite Park. You know, the big park. Mark Parra's in it. Kenny McMurphy is the chucklehead act in this. Is really stupid and puts pancakes on his ears, but just really well, crappy written. And I just love it really looks like something that a college group would do in that late 80s. It's 1989, and it just looks like it's like the perfect time of year here, like kind of in that maybe late September or early October. Good time to watch that, kind of up in the mountains, like hiking and stuff. And I love this freaking movie. It's just really good. On the Edge. And the best part is it has a thing on YouTube with the like commentary with these two goofballs, Roberts and Parra, like talking about the movie, but they're talking about it like as if they are still the characters. It's really weird. It's awesome. I love watching it. Late One Night, another Cristiano film. This one from 2001. Josh Gafka, Brad Heller, who's been a guy who recurs in a lot of his films and a lot of Cristiano films. Hugh McLean. There's another one that has a lot of repetitive writing, but I love watching it. 30-minute short film. It actually has a really good message in it, but the execution is a little weak throughout. The ending has a nice punchline to it, but the whole like repetitive dialogue is what makes it great. And most of it takes place in this like kind of diner place, and Hugh McLean is the owner of the diner, and just the guy here, Josh Gafka, sitting at the little counter, orders the chicken sandwich, fries, and tea. So it's really like sets up a nice meal on Chick-fil-A or whatever. So this is a great one to watch. It's a must watch. Then we have a couple of to close it out. A couple of Brad Crandall narrated films. So Brad Crandall, he did some Lincoln film. It's documentary style. He did it's the Historic Jesus, which wasn't very good, but it's all right. In Search of Noah's Ark is just classic. 1976. Vern Addicks as Noah, and the whole like Noah scene with the ark. It's probably the best part of it. The dramatization of the ark, and it's kind of inaccurate, some of the stuff. And then like all the accounts over the years of people seeing the ark is just really strange and like not very believable. That just makes it great. The little dramatization scenes of it. So I always like watching this time of year. And then the one that ends it right before Horror Fest, this is kind of a lead-in. You will notice that almost all of these have nothing to do with horror. Okay, so this one is horror, but it's watched a little earlier. All right, so this one is not horror. It's documentary. It has a little suspense stuff in there. There is kind of some horror elements in it, but it's definitely not a horror film. But this is always the one that you got. Brad Crandall again as the narrator. It's about people's near-death experiences, like seeing heaven and stuff like that. Vern Addicks is back, plays Plato, and opening scene, my main man Richard Jury, who was also in The Snow Beast, 1977. My main man Richard Jury playing Jacob Thompson, the blind man who has a death experience where he's clinically dead. So this is really good. And his whole like conversation with his surgeon is funny too. All right. This season includes a 30-day horror, not fest, but horror fast. Okay, so I always do a 30-day break of fast of no horror movies. Okay, and sometimes this includes being careful with even with like sci-fi films. Got to be careful with trying to sneak in sci-fi films during that 30-day period, because some of them do have can be like sci-fi horror kind of. So you really got to make sure that it's straight sci-fi without any kind of horror stuff. You really want to be fresh, cleansed out before you start Horror Fest. It's very, very important. Okay, so there's always a 30-day thing. Okay, and there's a lot of lax movies here. This is a full length. This is a full length. These two are full lengths. The rest are short films. This is like 37 minutes. This is 39 minutes. I know this by heart, guys. This one is Ordinary Guy. Like I said, 70 minutes at the most. And then On the Edge is an hour. Late One Night is 30 minutes. Okay, so a lot of it, must watches, but ones that are kind of easy to fit in there during this 5-week, I won't say 5-6 week period. Okay, so always a 30-day horror fast. Okay, except this year. Okay, and that's beyond my control really, because the first day of Horror Fest, Horror Fest Day 1. Is October the 11th, Friday, October the 11th. Okay, Andy knows all about this. The earliest it's ever been, 21 Nights to Rock, boys. However, this year we have on another Friday. All right, so it's actually going to be, because it's Friday the 13th in September. You gotta watch a Friday the 13th movie on that day. Don't know what it's gonna be. Just kind of depends, weather related. But that'll close it out. That'll be the last horror film until here. So you really have like a 27-day period, 28 maybe, of no horror, fast, really fast. Okay, so since it's a little shorter this year, you got to make sure that you don't watch like thriller either, and like you got to stay away from like that thriller that could be a lot of deaths and stuff. Okay, so very important. Others, Back to School for Obvious Reasons, 1986. You could watch that. Dangerfield, Kellerman, Kinnison, Burt Young is in this. Robert Downey Jr. is in this. When Strangers Appear, from another one from 2001. And this one is kind of underrated. Josh Lucas, Rhoda Mitchell, Kevin Anderson. This is a good. This is definitely a kind of a thriller suspense thing. Got some beach elements, got some surfing type themes in there, so kind of still got a little beach time, in September, so it's a good thing to watch. It's got a lot of breakfast food scenes in there too, the eggs and the bacon and toast and stuff at the little diner that Rhoda Mitchell runs. And then you got 2 more Cristiano films. This one has the distinction of being the first one that they ever made. The Daylight Zone, 1986. It's only like 26 minutes long, very short, but it's perfect for this time of year. Kevin Salter, Ernie Brown are in this. There's the fish sandwich and Mountain Dew FJ scenes. So he gets a fish sandwich and Mountain Dew. So you got some nice food scenes in there. It's got kind of sunny weather in it. It's really good. Really bad, but like really good for this time of year. And then Crime of the Age is another Cristiano one, 1988. This is it's like a kind of like detective mystery thing. Very repetitive dialogue, which I love. Kevin Salter again, Keith Salter again, Mike Smith. There you go, Smith, guys. Guess Smith. And then you got, I'll list these two guys because they're in The Pretender. Jack McAney and Donnie Karshowitz, who are best friends of the Keith Rose character. All right. All right, so, and then On Thin Ice, you could fit this in. This is from 1988. This is the prequel to On the Edge, 1988, but it's more of a winter. I mean, it takes place in the winter, but still, it's okay if you want to just kind of get an idea of how this storyline started that led to On the Edge. It has most of the same people, J. Roberts Jr., Mark Parra. Doesn't have Jared Moses, but does have Kevin McMurphy. So these are kind of the others. There are probably some others on there I could maybe slide from August that I didn't get to that were others, like Humanoids from the Deep, 1980. Might be able to slip that one into early September. It's one that I just can't ever get into my must-watches for August, even though I loved it the first time I saw it, but the repeated viewings didn't carry quite the same feel to it, but it's one I could slip in there. 4D Man, 1956 sci-fi, but I'm probably going to fit that one in for the August season. That's pretty much it, guys. So it's a very weird season, but it is a season, and it's kind of a relaxed season. You have a lot of time to get these in. It's pretty easy to do. It really sets up Horror Fest when you get to Beyond and Back, and so I won't do like a whiteboard series or any kind of series, big thing announcing like Horror Fest, here's the must-watches. Usually we just do that like day by day and talk about Horror Fest. I've already done videos showing recorded all of the, typed up all the Horror Fests, the movies back going from 2015 and all the way up, so there's really no need to do that. This is one of the most lax seasons, I would say, but I think the one after Horror Fest might be the most lax season of the entire year. This is kind of a halftime, if you want to think of it that way, and I'm looking forward to some of these movies, but we still got some time. Still got a little time in August to close it out with hot moves in the summer. Get that pumpkin spice latte going, and then get into some of these kind of back to school, still a little beach stuff, kind of fall type atmosphere, but not like cold stuff. So you don't get cold things yet. All right, that's very important. The theme of these movies. There's a lot of these Christian films, all these short Christian films seem to show up during this period. That's another theme, and I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, guys, thanks for watching this kind of weird season of movie watching season, the end of summer, fall, pre-Horror Fest, kind of halftime, and all right, it's gonna be fun. Thanks for watching, guys.